There comes a time when you stop showing up for the performances people expect from you. The endless explanations, the constant availability, the habit of softening yourself just to make others comfortable, all of it fades. And one ordinary day, without any warning or announcement, you just stop. Everything shifts. You're not colder, just clearer. You're not rude, just done playing the role of everyone's emotional caretaker. You've quietly resigned from people-pleasing, and there's no farewell speech or severance check for that job. Then comes the confusion. The ones who were used to unlimited access to your time, your heart, your energy, suddenly find the door locked. They can't reach you like before, and they panic, not because they lost you, but because they lost control of the access. Here's the beauty. You didn't need to block anyone or stage a dramatic exit. You simply became unavailable. And that silence, it speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. You're no longer a yes machine. You're done performing emotional CPR on people who vanished the second you needed air. Becoming unattainable isn't about ego or games. It's about standards. It's about refusing to seek comfort in hands that were never meant to hold you. You're not avoiding connection. You're just done begging for crumbs at tables that don't deserve your presence. And this, right here, is where your story starts to get interesting. There's power in not reacting, and not the manipulative kind people fake online. It's not about pretending to be mysterious. It's about stepping outside the version of yourself that always needed to be understood, defended, or validated. When you become unattainable, it's not that people can't reach you, it's that they can no longer own your triggers. Before, if someone ignored you, you'd spiral, overthink, over-explain, reread old texts, wonder what you did wrong. But now, their silence becomes a mirror, reflecting your growth back at you. You realize that peace doesn't come from proving your worth. It comes from remembering it. And the moment you stop explaining yourself, something profound happens. People start revealing who they truly are without your help or guidance. Some disappear quietly. Good. That was their role. Others push harder, not because they care, but because they can't stand losing access. Access is addictive. Once it's rare, people start treating it like gold. Because it is. Because you are. And maybe for the first time, you feel it, not in a loud, look-at-me way, but in that grounded, quiet confidence that doesn't need applause. You don't just walk differently. You move differently. You rest without guilt. You respond when you want to, not when expected. You stop fixing other people's emotional messes. You're no longer a sponge soaking up storms that weren't yours. You're not bitter. You're just unavailable to anything that disrespects your peace. That's not cold. That's evolution. And soon, the world notices. Those who once took you for granted start studying you like a riddle they can't solve. But the truth is simple. They never earn the answer. There comes a moment when you stop chasing closure and start enjoying the silence it leaves behind. Because suddenly, not everything needs to make sense. You don't need apologies from people who can't even face themselves. You don't need validation from those who once made you feel small. You've seen yourself, and that's something they never expected. When you become unattainable, you stop moving from desperation and start moving from direction. You're not ghosting people. You're just done with conversations that loop in circles. You're not hard to get. You just finally get yourself. People will say you've changed, that you're distant, that you've closed off. They're right. You have. Because you no longer live like a 24/7 service line for everyone's problems except your own. There's no announcement, no unfollow, just quiet choices, choosing yourself, saying no without a speech, resting without guilt, laughing at what used to ruin your day. Your presence becomes expensive, not because you're trying to be exclusive, but because you finally understand the cost of offering yourself for free. You stop wondering if they miss you. You stop waiting for them to come back, because the version of you who needed that doesn't exist anymore. Now, peace is louder than validation. Solitude feels richer than fake connection. And in that stillness, you begin to attract the things, people, and moments you once chased with tired hands. You're not proving anymore, you're simply being. And that's where the shift truly begins. There's a quiet transformation that takes place when you stop making your presence so easy to access. Not to punish anyone, but to protect what you've finally built. Because once you create peace, you start guarding it like something sacred. Not through anger, not with walls, but with awareness. You begin to see things clearly. The difference between connection and attachment. You stop mistaking routine for love and guilt for loyalty. You recognize that some conversations you used to chase no longer deserve your breath. Now, you simply watch them from a distance, like background noise that no longer stirs you. You don't rush to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, not from pride, but from clarity, because being seen by the wrong people was never real visibility. It was just exposure without understanding. Something else shifts too. You start measuring relationships differently, not by how long they've lasted, not by shared memories, but by how you feel afterward. Do you feel lighter or heavier? You start noticing the tension you once ignored, the slight heaviness in your chest after saying yes when you wanted to say no, the way your shoulders tighten when certain names appear on your phone. Becoming unattainable teaches you something simple. Stop betraying yourself in small ways to keep others comfortable. Because every time you abandon yourself to preserve peace around you, you create chaos within you. And one day, that cost becomes too high. You stop trading your sanity for approval. You move slower. You respond later. Not from spite, but from self-respect. Your time suddenly has meaning. You don't rush to prove anything anymore. You stop needing everyone to understand you, because you're no longer trying to be their mirror. You're not here to reflect expectations. You're here to live in alignment. And that alignment, it's magnetic. Not because you're louder or tougher, but because you're calm in a world addicted to noise. Focused, while everyone else is distracted. Unreachable. Not because you're hiding, but because you refuse to stand in places where your soul can't breathe. People start to look at you differently when you stop needing something from them. Not because you've turned cold, but because your energy no longer whispers, "Choose me." It quietly says, "I've already chosen myself." And that shift, that subtle self-assurance, speaks louder than anything you could post or explain. When you become unattainable, you stop advertising your worth. You stop marketing your soul like a product waiting to be picked. You realize you're not on sale. You're not auditioning for approval. You're rooted. And rooted people don't chase storms. They don't bend in every direction hoping to be liked. They stand firm, grounded, even when the world moves around them. That's when your life changes. You stop acting out of scarcity. You stop keeping people through overgiving or over-explaining. You're not over anything. You're finally enough. And for the first time, you feel it. Not just say it. You feel it in your peace, in the simplicity of your conversations, in the silence of your phone. And when you look in the mirror, you no longer ask, "What's wrong with me?" You start saying, "I'm proud of how far I've come." Because here's the truth. People can't value what you keep discounting. For too long, you've lowered your price to stay affordable to those never ready to invest in anything real. But not anymore. Now, you live in truth, not to impress, but because peace has always been your natural state. You were just too accessible to the things that disrupted it. And the more you live in that truth, the more magnetic you become. Not to everyone, but to the right ones. The ones who come with intention, not convenience. With depth, not distraction. That's the quiet reward of becoming unattainable. You stop chasing energy that drains you and start attracting energy that sustains you. Now let's talk about what people misunderstand most. Becoming unattainable isn't isolation. It's refinement. You're not cutting people off. You're cutting off the drain. You're not cold. You're finally warm toward yourself. Because when you stop being easy to reach, you stop being easy to drain. Think about it. How many times have you silenced your own needs to keep others comfortable? How many times have you ignored your gut just to keep something alive that was already dying? How many times have you allowed your energy to be hijacked by people who never noticed your exhaustion? That ends now, not because you've become someone new, but because you've remembered who you were before you edited yourself for approval. Now, when something feels off, you don't rationalize, you trust it. When someone disappears during your hard times and returns out of boredom, you don't welcome them. You recognize the pattern. And when you walk into a room, you no longer scan for validation. You bring your own peace and let it fill the space. This is what growth looks like. When you stop needing others to understand your boundaries before you enforce them. You stop repeating explanations. You stop managing emotions that aren't yours. You let people sit with their own discomfort. You let their distance become data, because now your peace is non-negotiable. And that doesn't make you harsh, it makes you healed. The real transformation doesn't begin with how people treat you. It begins with what you allow, because once your tolerance shifts, your entire world starts to rearrange itself. Old patterns fall apart. Superficial connections fade. And what's left behind? Space. Space for what's real. Space for people who bring peace instead of confusion. Space for quiet mornings, firm boundaries, and a version of you that no longer runs on survival mode. This journey isn't about closing yourself off from love, connection, or life. It's about closing the door on chaos, codependency, and the endless need to prove that you're enough. Because you always were. You just stopped living like you weren't. And here's the part most people miss. Becoming unattainable isn't about distance. It's about protection. You stop performing your worth and start preserving it. You stop being everyone's emotional first responder. You stop saying yes out of fear that no will make you lose someone. You stop explaining simple boundaries to people who have no intention of respecting them. And maybe for the first time in your life, you realize this. Peace doesn't come from being understood. It comes from no longer needing to be. That's where the freedom begins. In the quiet space between needing and choosing. In the calm that follows after you finally let go of what was never meant to be yours. Because becoming unattainable doesn't mean you're unavailable. It means you've stopped negotiating your value. You've stopped entertaining inconsistency. You've stopped validating half-effort. You've stopped shrinking to fit into connections that only survived when you played small. You're not harsh. You're honest. And yes, people will notice the difference. They'll ask, why are you so distant now? Why don't you reach out anymore? What changed? And your answer is simple. You got tired. Tired of watering one-sided gardens. Tired of sacrificing your peace for temporary closeness. Tired of being needed, but never truly seen. So now, you don't chase. You align. You don't perform. You exist. And here's the beautiful twist. When you become unattainable to the wrong things, you become magnetic to the right ones. To the people who meet you with peace, not pressure. With presence, not excuses. With intention, not confusion. And if you've made it this far, you already know this message wasn't just heard, it was felt. So take a moment, write in the comments, "I no longer chase, not for me, but for you." As a declaration, you're not disappearing. You're finally arriving as your full, unapologetic self. And from this moment forward, you owe that version of you to no one who never made space for it.